on a peaceful Friday, as the sun cast its gentle light over the calm streets of Islamabad. A sense of tranquility filled the air. Children's laughter echoed as they played, and people went about their day with a quiet grace. Across the city, families prepared for Jummah prayer, a sacred weekly ritual. Children, the elderly and young men all readied themselves, their hearts filled with faith and devotion. For many, it was a time for reflection, a moment to connect with the divine and the community. As they left their homes, a shared sense of purpose and peace united them, their steps leading them towards the houses of worship, ready to stand together in prayer. Among the faithful were 10-year-old Ali Asghar and his 12-year-old brother Kazim. They walked alongside their uncle, their faces bright with smiles and their conversation filled with the innocent chatter of youth. Their journey to the Imambargah was one of happiness, a simple, beautiful moment shared between family. They were just like so many others that day, including a man named Abbas, who was also preparing for prayer. None of them could have known that this ordinary Friday, this day of devotion, would soon become a moment of profound trial for their entire community, a day that would test their faith and their courage in ways they could never have imagined. Worshippers from all walks of life began to gather at Imambargah Khadija Kubra, a place of peace and worship in the Talai area of Islamabad. The atmosphere was one of mutual respect and serenity. Security checks were conducted with care and politeness, and people greeted one another with warm smiles as they entered the sacred space. It was a true reflection of a community coming together, bound by a common faith. Inside, the sense of peace deepened as rows of worshippers stood shoulder to shoulder, preparing for the prayer to begin. The unity was palpable, a silent testament to their shared beliefs. As the Imam's voice rose to begin the prayer, a profound stillness settled over the congregation. Rows of worshippers stood in perfect harmony, their movements synchronized in devotion. Many bowed down in prostration, their foreheads touching the ground, completely absorbed in their worship. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated connection with the divine, a collective act of submission and faith. The air was thick with reverence, each person lost in their own personal prayer, yet part of a greater whole. But in an instant, this sacred tranquility was shattered. A sudden, jarring disturbance from outside the Imambargah ripped through the calm, and the expressions on people's faces turned from devotion to shock and confusion. Hearing the commotion, a man named Abbas acted with incredible bravery. Without a moment's hesitation, he stepped outside, driven by a powerful instinct to protect his fellow worshippers. He moved forward, attempting to confront and stop the source of the disturbance. It was a selfless act of courage in the face of imminent danger, a single individual standing up against a rising tide of chaos. His actions were a testament to the human spirit's capacity for heroism, even in the most terrifying of circumstances. But despite his and others' efforts to prevent harm, the peaceful gathering was tragically disrupted. The day of prayer turned into a scene of sorrow. In the aftermath, the peaceful atmosphere was replaced by grief and chaos. Families who had arrived with hearts full of faith were now left to grapple with unimaginable loss. The sudden violence served as a stark and painful reminder of the fragility of life. How a moment of peace can be so quickly and senselessly torn apart. Yet, even in this dark hour, the community's spirit was not broken. As soon as the incident occurred, a swift response was underway. Police, army personnel, and ambulances rushed to the scene, their sirens wailing as they worked tirelessly to save lives and secure the area. The first responders were a beacon of hope amid the confusion. The response from the community itself was just as immediate and powerful. In the midst of the turmoil, people came together to support one another. They helped guide frightened children and elders to safety, offering words of comfort and reassurance. Strangers became protectors, and the bonds of community tightened in the face of adversity. The injured were quickly transported to hospitals, where dedicated medical staff worked around the clock, doing everything in their power to tend to the wounded. The collective effort to save lives and comfort the grieving was a profound display of solidarity and human compassion, shining a light of hope in a moment of deep sorrow. As the news of the tragedy spread, a wave of grief washed over the city and beyond. The hearts of the people were heavy with sorrow for the lives lost and the families left behind. Funeral prayers were held with immense dignity and respect, a solemn farewell to those who had been taken so senselessly. The community gathered to mourn, sharing in the collective pain. Yet, out of this profound sorrow, a powerful and unwavering message began to emerge. Voices rose in unity, declaring that they would not be intimidated, that fear would not make them step back from their faith or their way of life. It was a declaration of resilience, a promise to stand firm. This spirit of defiance and courage was powerfully demonstrated in the days that followed. The subsequent prayers at the Imambargah continued, not with hesitation, but with renewed faith and determination. The rows of worshippers were just as full, their presence a testament to the idea that fear could never overcome belief. The community showed the world that their unity was unbreakable and their faith was stronger than any act of violence intended to divide them. The tragedy had brought them closer, reinforcing the bonds of humanity and togetherness. They proved that even in the darkest of times, the light of faith and community could not be extinguished. In a powerful display of solidarity, Shia and Sunni communities stood together, united as one. They shared the same grief, mourned the same losses, and held onto the same hope for a peaceful future. The lines that some sought to draw between them vanished, replaced by a shared humanity. They were one community, one soul, comforting each other and drawing strength from their collective resilience. This unity sent a clear and resounding message to those who sought to sow division. Their efforts had failed. Instead of breaking the community apart, the tragedy had forged an even stronger bond, proving that love and togetherness would always be more powerful than hatred and division. In the quiet evenings that followed, the community gathered for candlelight vigils. The soft glow of hundreds of flames illuminated faces filled with sorrow, but also with hope. Children gently placed flowers at the site, a simple, poignant tribute to the lives that were lost. A quiet, reflective atmosphere settled over the gatherings, a time for mourning, but also for reaffirming their commitment to peace. The message from these vigils was clear and unwavering. Hatred cannot and will not defeat unity. Violence cannot and will not silence faith. The path forward lies in spreading peace, compassion, and humanity throughout our society, ensuring that such a tragedy never happens again. This story, born from immense pain, ultimately became a symbol of courage and an enduring testament to the power of sacrifice for the sake of truth. It echoes the timeless spirit of Imam Hussain, a beacon of resilience against injustice. May God grant the departed the highest place in paradise and give their families the patience to bear this immense loss. Let us honor their memory by continuing to build a world where unity and humanity prevail over all else. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, Rahe Hussain, for more messages of unity and hope.